Good evening, all five of you. Anyway, welcome to tonight's study session. And we're here tonight to, nobody wants to really talk about the council's pay, so maybe that's why they're not here. But we'll call the meeting to order, and Mr. Raines, the floor is yours.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I will lay a bit of the foundation for the dialogue this evening and then hand the baton to Mr. Barber to go through the information that we found. But as the mayor's pointed out, we're here to discuss a topic in study session format. There's not any decisions that'll be made tonight, but we felt it might be an opportunity from a timing perspective to engage the mayor and council on the topic of salary for the elected body. It's not a topic that we have very regularly. In fact, just to give the mayor and council the context, the last time the mayor and council adjusted the salary via ordinance was in 2000 So it's been 24 years since this last discussion. But I know that this particular council and past councils have asked staff along the way to do salary surveys so that you have a better understanding of what is happening around us with other communities, and we've done that. And Mr. Barber will talk a little more about that here in a minute. But I thought that given the uniqueness, given the nuances of how you have to apply from a process perspective, salary increases for the elected body, coupled with the fact that we have 3 new members that will be seated in December, that it may be an opportune time to give all of the council an update on the survey data that's been collected and have a candid discussion about where we're at in the market. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Scott and let him lay the foundation here. So, Scott.
Thank you, Larry. The League of Arizona Cities and Towns produces on an annual basis what they call their annual salary and benefits survey. And the information that's collected, generally speaking, is effective as of just October 1st of each year. So the data that's available right now is as of 10/1/23, and it's produced as the 2024 League Salary Survey. It includes information from cities and towns and also a little bit of information on Arizona counties as well. So the idea is that pretty much the compensation and benefits changes that take place on July 1st, and they end up looking at October 1st as a convenient
It's a year
date.
old, Scott, right? Then it's a year old?
That's right.
2023.
Just 2 weeks ago, my staff completed the most recent survey and sent that information to the league. And so they'll be compiling that information, and they generally produce their league survey in January, about January, February of each year. So the information that's provided to you this evening comes from the 2024 League Salary Survey, the information effective as of 10/1/2023. And in the matrix that you've been provided, we have used the cities and towns that are chosen as our comparators for our employee salary survey every year. We have the comparators that we review each year, and typically we ask council to affirm our comparators before we do our annual salary update. And so you'll see those represented here. So we have 17 cities and towns as our comparators, and we use Pinal County. But Pinal County is not used in this analysis because as an arm of the state, their elected official compensation is basically statutory. It's set by statutes. And so you'll see the information that's been provided in the League Salary Survey for all of our 17 comparators. And the average that's indicated there, you'll see what it's currently our compensation and then a computed variance. And you see at the bottom of the matrix for our mayor compensation in terms of the market comparators that we use for our employee study each year, we're under the market by 30.5% for our mayor compensation and just under 50% for council compensation. And then the specific information for the cities and towns is provided there. And of course, you probably know under our city charter, was adopted in 19...
Scott, do you have a copy we could put on the screen? I know not everybody has their computer.
Mayor, I don't think we did that, sorry.
We might be able, Scott, if you want to continue to speak, I think I might be able to have access to
Make
one.
a copy?
Okay.
Or make copies, I know I didn't.
Get one.
I mean, I can pull it up here. Share.
No, it wasn't on mine. Yeah.
Was it not on the presentation?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it
it
was
was in
there
this
someday.
update.
Oh, that's where it is. Okay, I saw it.
I knew I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, it's not on the,
Here's his update. No, that's
Probably not last week's, the week before, maybe.
If you want to continue, and we'll see if we can
Certainly,
find something.
Mayor. Under city charter that was adopted in 1975, there is a section, Article 2, Section 9, concerning salaries of mayor and council members, and it says the annual salaries of the mayor and council shall be as determined by ordinance, but shall not be decreased or increased during the current term of city council or council members enacting such ordinance. And that refers specifically to what city manager indicated previously. So that is the basic information on the table this evening for your further consideration. And as we continue to seek that, we'll try to answer any questions that you might have specifically about the data.
See it on Larry's update.
I don't see
I
it
saw it
either.
somewhere.
Larry, was that
this
sent to us somewhere? Was it on the
Was it this week's?
meeting
Larry?
report?
No, it's been a couple of weeks ago
Oh,
when I sent it out.
okay.
And you're asking us to remember something from a couple weeks ago? Here it is, council pay.
On the 27th?
It was on the week before. Okay, I have it here. Can I share?
I sent it to me.
Oh, you want me to send it to you?
Or do you have it opened as a?
I have it open. You want me to bring this over there? Can you put it on there?
Well, I don't know that we can share it. You'll have to email it to us, Mayor, in order.
Okay. It's on Larry's update, so I'll send you the whole thing.
Okay.
Your computer, Stephen? On its way. Here they are, if you want to see them. Did you get it?
From the 27th update.
You have the date on the,
27th.
Yeah, it was the
September
week,
27th?
it was the weekly update from 9/27. I have it here.
I remember looking at it, other cities that.
Yeah, the average for the mayor is 24,636, and the council is 15,698. Those are the averages for the 15 cities that they've looked at.
What was the mayor, 24 what?
24,636.
That's probably their minimum.
Okay.
15,698.
698, okay.
It's
And
54,000 for the
current,
mayor.
Yeah,
current is
38 for council.
18,878, and 10,486.
and 486.
I
Okay.
thought,
We gotta turn on
These are not on.
you gotta turn the thing on.
Are these off?
Yeah, our screens are off.
Let's go.
why they off? That's weird.
Somebody turned them on.
There we go.
Over here.
Oh, there we are.
There we go.
Where's the?
They're on now.
You hold that button.
Hold it down.
Yeah, hold
Ah,
that. There we go.
got it. All right.
got
Good,
it.
thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, and just, I mean, I'll chime in. This doesn't affect me, but I think it should happen. I think that it's important that we try and keep pace with some of our surrounding cities. And being, we don't do this as a living wage. This is not something that any council member or mayor, at least that I know of, makes a living wage off of this, but it should at least help cover costs that are incurred through the year. And I know for myself personally, over the 8 years that I've been here, and I didn't do this for the money, but it would have been nice to have some reimbursement for the expenses that I did have. And for me personally, if I just take my own personal vehicle, I mean, I have over 100,000 miles on my personal vehicle that are all, or 90% are city miles. And so, could I have used a city vehicle? Yes, I had options to use a city vehicle. I chose not to. And 24,000 for a mayor is pretty good. That's a pretty good deal for the city. It's not expensive, and this is a hard subject for sitting council. So that's why I feel the need to chime in, because I was the one that suggested we look at this. And I think that, as a member of the community, you need to also remember that these people volunteer their time. And this is not compensation for their time. This is just compensation for wear and tear on people's lives and on their personal vehicles. And, some of the, I don't know what it's called, nastiness, but some of the issues that the council has to deal with are difficult. And so this group up here with me are gluttons for punishment, and I throw myself in that group as well. We do this because we care for our city. We care what happens for our citizens, and this really is a minor part of the overall city's budget. I guarantee there's not a person in the city that gets paid this amount, even the part-timers.
And Mr. Mayor, members of the council, if I can just build on this before we move on to the nuances with council considering salary increases for themselves. First and foremost, as you see by this, you're going to find throughout the state that the pay for elected officials is going to vary location by location. As Mr. Barber pointed out, this is a combination of those cities that we, as a city, can typically compare ourselves to, the comparable cities, when we're looking at our annual salaries for employees. Essentially, what you find is that the majority of these cities are within our population range. And obviously, when you look at the list, you'll see that you're going to find salaries of levels that are higher in the valley than you're going to find in a more rural area, obviously. But I think it is important to note that I don't know that there's any elected official at a local level that's running for the pay. The pay is always secondary to the good work that they want to do for the community, and I think this reflects that. As the mayor was pointing out, when you look at the comparable cities, the average of all of the cities, as I said, some high, some low, for the mayor's 24,636 and 15,698 for the council. Our current salaries are under that, and so just to give you a context, if you wanted to, if the decision was to move to setting the average, which again, based on this data, which is a year old, that would be a $5,758 increase for the mayor position, and it would be a $5,212 increase for the council per person. So in total, that would roughly be $40,000 worth additional cost, just to give you all the context of what we're looking at here. We do have what is not shown on here, and we have a bit of a uniqueness in Casa Grande where we pay our mayor pro tem in between the mayor and the council wages. We ultimately would have to establish that based on any direction that we may get, and would obviously look to do so. But I want, if Scott can, talk a little bit about what I consider to be the nuances related to salary, because there are some constitutional issues that essentially suggest that this existing council, it's all based on term. I'm going to ask Mr. Graffius to help as well, but essentially, if the council elects to give an increase in pay, those that are in their existing term cannot recognize that. You actually have to wait until your following term be reelected before you would ultimately be eligible for a pay increase. And so, when I said a minute ago that the uniqueness of us having 3 new council members, essentially those, if the mayor and council elects to have to increase the salaries, then it will be those 3 new council members that will benefit from your decision, and the existing council would not actually benefit until the next term, 2 years from now.
So 2 years.
Yeah.
And can I just ask a question, Scott? Is there a matrix for, I know that we're fortunate enough as a council that we get insurance and we get vehicle gas reimbursement, and then we get a stipend, if you will, for internet. Do we have a matrix of if other cities do that?
The reported data for the League of Cities and Towns Salary Survey did include a question relating to the health insurance benefits for elected officials. And of our 17 comparators, 14 do, 3 do not. Oro Valley, Prescott, and Sierra Vista are the 3 comparator entities that don't provide that benefit, but 14 report providing that benefit. As far as the other aspects, those are not reported.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think that, Councilmember McBride, I think that will vary from city to city. We see that some cities do provide auto allowance, other cities do provide some type of a cell phone stipend and the like, and so it really becomes a bit unique from city to city once you get into those other types of benefits. Mr. Mayor, if I can, just perhaps provide a bit of information related to the process, should the mayor and council desire the staff to put together an ordinance. So the ordinance would have to be considered on November the 4th, with the second read on November the 18th. Essentially, both reads prior to the December 2nd council meeting. Obviously, that's when the new council would be coming on board. So if this is something that the mayor and council this existing mayor and council would ultimately desire to have the newest members benefit from, we would need to take action at the 2 meetings in November. They would obviously have to pass by in this particular case, it's a supermajority, right, Mark? A supermajority vote, the ordinance?
Not if it's just a regular ordinance.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, just a regular ordinance would be, a majority.
okay.
But I think the supermajority only comes into effect when it's an emergency.
Right.
So, but I do want to point out that, as most of you guys know, that after the second reading, there's what's called like a 30-day waiting period, so people can refer ordinances to the electors. So the ordinance, even though it's adopted in November, so it meets the criteria of being adopted prior to the new council, it won't actually be effective until 30 days after the 18th. So it would really start at the first pay period after December 18th for the new council members.
Yeah, which is, we get paid in arrears anyway, so, I mean, that would be a normal process. It would be the January.
pay.
Right, January pay period,
Yeah.
correct.
So, wouldn't affect me, though.
That's okay. We're proud for you.
Or Donna. Donna doesn't get affected either, so. But yeah, no, I mean, I just think it's the right thing to do. I know it's never comfortable, because this is, you vote yourself a raise, but it's still not much. Yeah, Bob? go
Yeah.
ahead.
I'm glad we're looking at the established salary survey cities. I think that's very wise. And I'm wondering if we should head down a path that these are included in the annual salary survey so that subsequent councils always know where they are, and if they want to vote a raise in at the end of the year, they can certainly do that. But I think one of our shortcomings is we've waited so long. And, but I think it would be good for the organization, because people look at that, you know, they want to see not only how much am I making, but how much is my boss making. But I think it would be good for the organization, for them to see how much the council members and the mayor is making, because it's not much, you know.
Yeah, right.
And,
Yeah, and somebody said, we don't want people to run for office because of the pay. And I totally agree with that. And I don't think we're in danger of that right now.
no, but I think the opposite is true too. We don't want somebody to shy away from it because the pay's
Can't
so
afford-
low. Well,
yeah,
I'm not
right.
going to do that. You know, I think we want to stay competitive, and
The average.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the average. This is not, we're not like top quartile. We're not talking about top quartile salaries here. So, does anybody else have any comments or questions? Nope, and it wouldn't affect Jeff either, so. So, we're the three that it won't affect. Well, and you too, you also.
Right.
And you.
Well, just so people, I mean, you give most of it back anyway by going to all the events we go
I
to.
know.
So, like,
All the auction items.
Yeah, auction
and-
items and tickets and everything else we
Sponsorships.
do, so we didn't get into it for the money.
No,
I agree.
yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I do think it's important to Councilmember Herman's comment. I'm not aware that there are any full-time mayors or council members in this list, right? We fall into a category based on our comparables.
I believe
that-
you're correct
That
there.
most of these individuals are not what I would consider to be
Yeah.
full-time, but certainly, as a full-time elected official, but certainly, many of these organizations have enough activity that that the elected body is working more regularly than perhaps they have in the past. That would be very similar to Casa Grande.
Well, and I would say that especially the community our size, the mayor's
The mayor
position
is a full-time job.
definitely is a full-time job. It's not, we have way too much going on for it not to be. And the mayor really is the one who represents the city in Phoenix, and, at the legislature and at the league and all of the things that we are involved in these days. It's just, I think it's kind of mission critical that there be some compensation for it's the wear and tear on the person and the wear and tear on the personal property and things like that it will help. Plus all the events that you go to. I mean, we pay out of pocket for some of these events that we go to. Some we are paid for, but some are not. And so, anyway, I think it's the right thing to do, and like I said, I think I'm in that opportunity. I'm in that zone, that opportunity zone where I think this is the right thing to do, and to help future mayors and council members. So,
Mr. Mayor, is the direction for staff to draft an ordinance that would bring us to the average and
say yes.
essentially establish the variance for the mayor pro tem position to the similar?
yeah, I mean, that would be my direction. If anybody has counter direction to that, now would be the time to speak up.
The only thing I will say is that you made a really good point. 20 years ago, the mayor position was, 1 or 2 days a week. And we all know that you have made it a full-time. And so you have set that precedence that, and when you look at the difference, it was 5,000, close to 5,000 for each. And I'm not sure whether, we need to look at the one for the mayor position a little bit differently, because we do need to make sure that somebody is being reimbursed, for that in the years to come. We don't want to wait another 20 years to do this. So that's,
Yeah, I think
that's
that
my
Bob-
only comment.
I think Bob suggested it maybe in our annual compensation package that we look
Right.
at this on an annual basis, or it'd be part of the evaluation, right? Part of the employees' compensation evaluation. And if it, gets out of whack again, then I'd recommend it be adjusted. And maybe there's a way to adjust it so the council doesn't have to vote on it every time.
Well, Mr. Mayor, the mayor and council would have to consider an ordinance to establish the salary every year under that particular guidance.
Okay.
And you're going to have the same constitutional requirement that you cannot be setting.
vote
So you would
yourself a raise, yeah,
ultimately, you
okay.
may want to look at it every couple of years.
Okay.
When you're going to have a transition of council, that may be more wise.
Okay. Can we kind of bake that into the process?
Absolutely. I mean, this data is available to us
I would
at the
feel
same time, but
Okay.
I think it's the.
Then maybe that's the way to
it's
do
the
it.
process and the nuances related that I think
Have it
that is
done
ultimately.
prior to elections in an election year?
Right. That may be,
Which would
that
be
may
every-
be something
every 2 years.
that's more understandable.
Okay. I'm good with that. Anybody else have
I
any
like it.
objections? No?
Okay.
I think you have some head nods. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, we will stand adjourned for, 3 minutes. Okay.
Only 3 minutes. Yeah, we
send yourself
obviously
a
didn't
note.
run for that, for the salary, so.
Send myself-
But I understand. All right.
Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to tonight's city council meeting. Tonight we have, I believe Jonathan Berkey Pastor Jonathan Berkey from Trinity Lutheran. Pastor, thank you for being here. And he will lead us in our invocation, and please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, gracious God, we thank and praise you for this day that you've given us. We thank you for this cooler weather that we're enjoying. And Lord, we thank you for the freedoms we enjoy in this nation, in the state, and in our town. Lord, we ask your blessing be poured out abundantly upon Casa Grande. We ask that you would give guidance and leadership to those who lead, and as mayor, as our city council. Lord, we ask that in this meeting, that as they make decisions, that it would be the best for our community and help us to move forward and look to the future. Father, we do thank you for all those who daily defend and protect us in our military. Lord, for those members of our armed forces around the world, for those locally. And Lord, we pray for our police officers and firefighters. Thank you for all that they do for us to protect us. Ask that you would protect them and bring them home to their families. And Lord, again, we just ask that you would put your blessing upon this meeting, upon our town, that we would just be a place where people experience your love and know your grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Anthony. Pastor. All right. Let the roll call show that all members of the council are present.
So noted.
Next item is our minutes.
Mayor McFarland, I move that we approve the minutes of the council regular meeting of October the 7th, 2024, and the acceptance of the minutes of Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of September the 5th, 2024, and acceptance of the minutes of the Board of Adjustments meeting of April 9th, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Next item is D, our claims.
Mayor McFarland, I move to accept and pay the claims dated October 2nd, 2024 through October 15th, 2024 as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the claims are approved. Next is our item E, which is our meeting agenda approval. Are there any changes, Mr. Raines?
We have no changes, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone on council have any changes? All right, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. We have no special presentations, so consent agenda is item G. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a member of the public so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in the normal sequence of the agenda. Is there anyone on council that wants to remove any of the consent agenda items?
No.
Anybody from the public?
Mayor McFarland, I move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, next is item H, which is our public comments. This is an opportunity for the public to come to the podium, state your name and your address. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and understand that it is not on the agenda, so we can't have any further discussion. Is there anybody here who would like to address the council? All right, seeing none, then I will close the public comment and we'll move to item I-1, award of contracts, and resolution number 5708. Chief?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. I want to talk to you about resolution to award a contract to Municipal Emergency Services, also we call them MES, for 3 Intellitek Solo Rescue SCBA decontamination washers for the fire department. These are being grant funded. It was a Prop 202 tribal gaming grant that is going to pay for this. It's $124,772. You guys already approved to receive the grant several weeks ago. This is for the purchase of the equipment. Essentially, there'll be one of these in 503, 504s, and we haven't decided whether it'll be 501 or 502, but this will allow our folks, when they come back from a fire, rather than hand cleaning an SCBA, which is a lengthy, time-consuming process, they can put it in this machine and it'll decontaminate it for us. And it does a better job than you do when you do hand washing. We are purchasing these under the Sourcewell contract. And that is about it, unless you have any questions.
Any questions from council? Sounds like some good equipment.
Thanks for the grant.
Yeah, thanks for the grant. Was it Sahila?
Yeah.
One of those 10 grants we've got from them this year? Oh, wow. Okay. All right, seeing no other comments, then I'll call for resolution number, please, Gloria.
Resolution number 5708, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from Municipal Emergency Services, Inc. for the purchase of 3 decontamination washers, authorizing the expenditure of public funds, authorizing the transfer of budget authority, and authorizing execution of a contract with or purchase order to Municipal Emergency Services, Inc.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve resolution number 5708 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, next on our agenda is I-2. This is considering approval of resolution number 5709. Chief?
Yes, sir. This is to award a contract to U.S. Digital Designs, which is essentially a part of Honeywell, for the alerting system for Station 503. This is part of the CIP, the FF&E that you guys have already approved. This is the actual purchase because of the amount. We're bringing it back to council. It is $155,313.70. We've been using Westnet, which is a company out of Huntington Beach. And it's not that we're unhappy with Westnet, but the problem with Westnet is anytime something breaks or we need something done here, they have to send a technician. And we get charged for that. When they drive him out here, he stays in a hotel, he eats food for those 2 or 3 days when he's working on the system. This is a Phoenix-based company that most of the Phoenix-based Valley firefighters, fire departments use for their alerting system. So we're switching to this. We'll have local technicians, we'll have people here in town. If something happens, they can come right down and work on it.
Nice.
This is just for the portion, we have to buy a portion to go to the communications center to do the alerting, and then the rest of it is for the equipment and the install at new Fire Station 503. We are buying this under a NPP Gov cooperative purchase contract, and the station's already prepped to have this installed, so we're all set with that. Do you guys have any questions?
Station's looking good.
It is. We're trying to keep things moving along. I sense the frustration from some of our business owners when they say it's very difficult sometimes to do things in town, because it's very difficult. Some of the utilities are very difficult to work with. We're going to have a fire station that's built and done, and we won't be able to flush the toilets. So we're working through that, but it's been a tough process.
Okay. Don't even have to ask who that is. I know who it is. Anybody have any questions for Chief?
You wouldn't guess it, actually. It's
Oh,
Yeah, it's a little surprising, actually.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Yeah, it was-
All right, no questions for Chief, then I'll call for a resolution number, please. Gloria.
Resolution number 5709, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from Honeywell International, Inc. for the purchase of a fire station alerting system, authorizing the expenditure of public funds, and authorizing execution of a contract with or purchase order to Honeywell International, Inc.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve Resolution 5709 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Thanks, Chief. All right, next is item I-13, considering approval resolution number 5710. Kevin?
Thank you. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council approve a bridging agreement to allow Allison Mills Contracting LLC to provide construction services to relocate manhole number 12 on our Burris sewer line. The base bid amount is $609,056 with a contingency of $60,944 for a total not to exceed $670,000. Rail spurs are obviously a key component to the success of our industrial area, and they have been planned and are currently moving forward with construction on several of those rail spurs. We have a manhole that's part of our Burris line, manhole number 12, that is in direct conflict with where that planned infrastructure needs to go, so we need to get this moved. Union Pacific did agree to pay all costs associated with this. When we originally budgeted for this in this year's budget, our estimate was $320,000. Obviously, the price has gone up. We learned a lot about the relocation of this manhole. It became much more complex when we started digging a little deeper. UPRR, the railroad, is going to reimburse us the full cost, but because we are short in the budget amount and to stay within our procurement code, we are going to be transferring funds from the Truckle Road Sewer Improvement Project, because we've not started that yet. We'll use those funds to offset the money that we don't have, and then once we're reimbursed, we'll recoup that and put that back into that project. So
Did you
with
say
that,
Union Pacific's going to pay for this?
Yes, Union
Did
Pacific.
I hear you right?
So this will be the most we've ever gotten out of Union Pacific ever.
I was going to say, I'm stunned.
Usually the money goes the other direction. but,
Wow.
They've been very cooperative, not the easiest to work with, but, we enjoy our relationship with them and want to continue that. We are asking council to approve this using a Pima County job order contract that allows Allison Mills to do this scope of work through that contract. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, anyone? Is this the spur, Kevin, the spur that they're going to build?
Yeah, if you're familiar with the area at the end of Burris Road, before you hit the railroad tracks, there's a informal road there called Cowtown.
Right.
And so the spur will be following that road alignment to the northwest, and then eventually feed into the different industrial projects as you go further to the west.
Okay. And this manhole's in that area?
Yes.
Okay.
Hole
All right.
number 12. Oh, manhole number 12.
Manhole number 12. I can find that on our website. All right, seeing no more questions or comments, I'll entertain a resolution number, please, Gloria.
Resolution number 5710, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from Ellison Mills Construction LLC for the relocation of a city manhole, authorizing expenditure of public funds, authorizing execution of a contract with or purchase order to Ellison Mills Construction LLC, and authorizing the transfer of budget authority.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve resolution number 5710 as presented.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, next is item I-4. This is consider approval of resolution number 5711. Mr. Raines?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you. Staff is asking the mayor and council to consider Resolution 5711, which authorizes funding agreements with Pinal County and Arizona Water Company for the use of the American Rescue Plan Act funds for water infrastructure improvements. And the council may recall approximately 1 year ago, you entered into an intergovernmental agreement with Pinal County with the city serving as essentially a fiscal agent for these funds that were made available. We knew that the funds were going to be utilized for water system improvements, but there's been a few minor changes that have occurred since that point, and so we're asking the mayor and council to consider this resolution, enter into funding agreements with both of those entities. The original IGA gave the city manager the authority to enter into the IGA with Pinal County solely. So because of the changes, I thought I'd spend a little bit of time articulating those to the council, giving you the context before you consider the resolution. You may recall that $15 million was made available to make water system improvements to enhance the drinking water systems in Casa Grande. Obviously, Arizona Water, as the water provider, becomes a subrecipient to that. What we have found as we move through this process and in our attempts to comply with the ARPA funds and the state requirements through that they're required to follow through the federal guidelines, that we needed to spend some time establishing a scope of services that ultimately would provide an enhanced service on our water service on our west side of town. And we believe that the scope that Arizona Water is proposing in their funding agreement will achieve that. It actually is adding new water supply to the Casa Grande system. It's adding new treatment and new main line. But essentially, the way this process will work is that we will enter into a funding agreement with Pinal County that is very typical to the funding agreements that they enter into with the state. It looks mirror image. The mayor and council has a copy of that in your packet. There have been no changes to that particular document. There have been some minor changes to that of the subrecipient of Arizona Water. Nothing that is material. The primary component of that are really twofold. Number one, that this is a reimbursement process, which ultimately requires Arizona Water to pay for the contractor, and there's a procurement requirement that we meet federal procurement standards, and our team has been working the last several months very closely with both the county and Arizona Water to ensure that the procurement components are going to be solidified. And in fact, we have a document pending council's final authority this evening to put out on the street. The fundamental component that I think is important for everybody knows that we have a very narrow timetable. The county and Arizona Water need these particular documents approved by the end of October. The funds then have to be obligated by the state of Arizona before the end of December. And then at that point, Arizona Water will have roughly 18 months to build the infrastructure. They intend to do so in 3 separate scopes. They'll focus primarily in phase 1 on the new water supply, which will be a new well and the treatment. Phase 2 will be some of the additional components around that campus, and phase 3 will be the main water line, which is going to require some dedications of right-of-way, which staff has been working with property owners on as well. And so essentially the funds have to be expended within 18 months, and then there will be a reimbursement. So the city is essentially contracting with Arizona Water through the funding agreement. We're ensuring that they're meeting the procurement and the scoping requirements, and then from there we will be asking the county to reimburse us, who then asks the state to reimburse. So that is the way this particular alignment will take place. But I know you have copies of the IGA that was originally approved between the city and Pinal County. You also have copies of the funding agreements in your packets this evening. Staff is asking, as part of this resolution, that you authorize the city manager to enter into those funding agreements. and take on the necessary procurement and fiscal agent responsibilities that are needed to ensure that Arizona Water is meeting the ARPA federal requirements. And so with that, Mr. Mayor, I'll pause and entertain any questions for the mayor and council. It is a $15 million funding through these ARPA funds. They could be used for water, sewer, and broadband. The state was desirous of us using them specifically for water infrastructure improvements, which is why we added Arizona Water to this particular dialogue.
You said it had to be done by the end of October. Does this need a second read, or is this it?
No, in fact, Mayor, thank you for bringing that to my attention. The mayor and council did approve the $15 million budget authority as part of our fiscal year 25 budget, and we did include this project in our original ordinance of our capital improvement program. And so what you need what we're asking for is a resolution that meets the expectation, because you've previously approved the ordinance.
Okay. So we're good to go with
One read.
One
Yes.
read, okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Seeing no questions, then, Gloria, I'll entertain a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5711, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, authorizing funding agreements with Pinal County and Arizona Water Company for the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the water infrastructure improvements, authorizing the execution of agreements by the city manager, authorizing the acceptance of funds, authorizing the expenditure of public funds, and authorizing the transfer of budget authority.
Mayor McFarland, I move that we approve resolution number 5711 as presented.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other additional information need to be tagged to that in terms of your comments, or is it just the resolution as presented?
Just the resolution as presented, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, we are in the home stretch. We have no boards and commissions, no ordinances, no public hearings, no executive session, so reports.
No
Mr.
report.
Lavender? All right, Donna?
I'll just mention a couple things. It is National Friends of the Library Week, and I know that the Friends of Library here in Casa Grande have done an amazing job for us, so I just wanted to give a shout out to them. And also, this past Sunday, Mayor, when you did the State of the City last March, we highlighted a group called Clean Up Casa Grande, and they had less than 100 folks on their Facebook page that they were represented. This past Sunday, 8 of those members went out over by Lowe's and Harbor Freight, and they collected 28 bags of trash, relocated 4 shopping carts, and they also took 4 big bags to the recycle that Rick Wilson did. And I want to thank them. I will tell you that because of the work they've done, they have nearly 375 members now on that group who go out randomly in their neighborhoods when they're walking their dogs and stuff, and they are cleaning up our community one street at a time. And I'm just so appreciative of the work that they do. I know they sometimes will talk with Larry, and he does a great job at corresponding with them, but they really have made a difference. And if you've ever been at that corner, I'm hoping that our businesses will take control of their own land and clean up their land, because these people, I believe the oldest lady said she was 77 years old, and the youngest was in his 20s. And so I am appreciative that we have citizens that take pride in their community. So I wanted to highlight that. And that's it.
Matt?
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to tell everyone in the community, thank you for coming out to the Rotary Club's Oktoberfest last weekend. It was a beautiful evening. Had over 3,000 people there.
Wow.
Everybody was great, had a great time. families, everybody. So thank you all for your support for the Rotary Club, and that's the kind of events we want to keep having. This Saturday is a Halloween stroll downtown from 11 to 2, family-friendly event, kind of trick-or-treating at the businesses downtown. It's a free event. And backed by popular demand is the Youth Commission's Day of Shredding, which will be this Saturday at First American Credit Union, 1001 North Pinal Avenue from 9 to 12, and also e-cycling. You can bring electronics as well. So we'll see you Saturday.
At the usual location.
1001 North Pinal, First American Credit Union.
Anthony?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say thank you to our mayor, to city council, the members that was able to come to the Juan Humes Memorial dedication for the prayer garden there at First Pres Church, ran by Cecil Hope. We're just so thankful for you all that are able to come, and also the city officials that were able to come too. We had over 75 people that came to that, and it was really good. So thank you on behalf of the committee as well as Linda Humes. Thank you.
And you know, it was such a beautiful event, and to celebrate the life of one of our spiritual leaders, we miss him dearly, so thank you for doing that. And on that note, I just wanted to, thank our fire department. As you all know, we had a fire this weekend at St. Anthony's Church, and I just, that's the church I go to, but I just wanted to thank Chief Keene and the fire department and all the surrounding communities that were there. Father and the parishioners and the bishop, they're all grateful for, your response. And so we know there's severe damage. We're still waiting, to hear what happened, the investigation. Obviously, it's devastating for the community. A lot of people, we were talking about it today. Many of us, even if you weren't a parishioner there, you've gone to weddings there, funerals there, different celebrations. So it's definitely, it's just sad. It's really sad. And the priest is doing what he can, but we're grateful that the community center's there, and that's where the services will be. So again, thank you for, Chief, to all of your staff and the surrounding communities that came and helped with that. So this time of year, there's so many activities. Matt, Larry, the Rotary event was such a great event. It really is, and it's such a beautiful day or evening that night, and so many people were just having a really good time. And I had my 89-year-old dad with me, and he had a great time. He closed the thing down, waiting to see if he was the winner of that, the raffle at the end. He wasn't, but no, so it was really good. Thank you for the seating that you had, because sometimes we have these events and there's not seating, and so when you have some of the older people there, he had a really good time. So, and I did too, but great event. And you mentioned the Halloween stroll, but there's also the Halloween, the other event on Friday at Paul Mason Sports Complex from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. That's the, what is it called? The Halloween Fall Festival?
Fall.
Yes. Harvest Festival, but that's a great event, of course, all the costume contests and everything that goes on there. So hope everyone can go out to that. And, a couple things that we talk about, challenges that we're faced here in the community. Childcare is one, and I wanted to thank Richard Wilkie for having the roundtable, having our childcare professionals and some of the nonprofit organizations that serve that community. We know it's an issue that we're, facing, and so it was nice having those businesses there with us to see how we can brainstorm and see what we can do. So thank you for starting that, and I'm really looking forward to being on that committee, that task force. So in the elementary school district, the mayor and I were both there. Also a business roundtable, again, bringing business leaders, throughout the community to address some of the, the things going on with the education in our community. So that was another great roundtable. So that's it for me.
Bob?
Mayor, I'm happy to report that the Cardinals are up 7-6, just going into the third quarter.
All right. The doubter that I am.
You coming back?
Yeah, I'll be back. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for that update.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We had some interviews tonight. We had nine people apply for 2 spots in our planning and zoning. So I would encourage everybody to continue to look for the opportunities to help the city and to get on a board or commission. And so I know we have some more coming up actually in the next 2 weeks. I think the Transit Board has some openings that I'm aware of. And obviously, we get openings all the time because we have like 10 different boards. And so people come and go from those boards. So I would encourage you to sign up on our website to receive the alerts and the information from the city. We'll also send you other stuff too. So it's good information to have. You can even hear about all these events that everybody has talked about up here. Those alerts also get sent out. And again, kudos to the Kiwanis Club and to all the volunteers. The Rotary Club, sorry, Rotary Club. I don't know why I said Kiwanis, sorry, man.
We like them.
I know better. And anyway, all the volunteers as well who helped you guys out. There was a lot of people that did a lot of work on that program. So, and that's pretty much all I've got. I know that this Friday there's a Red Ribbon Week proclamation at the Casa Grande Union High School, which kind of some of the folks had put on, and it's a national campaign that promotes drug prevention, education, and awareness. And so October is the month that it's observed. So we'll be issuing a proclamation at the high school on Friday. So looking forward to that. And you all have a great rest of your week. Meeting adjourned.